I'm finally going to hire someone one-on-one classes and do it because I'm curious about it. I'm fascinated by it. And I want to be able to influence people in a positive way who speak Spanish. So I'm like, let me lean into the dream. Let me keep doing it, even though it sucks and it's hard. And I'm like, not getting it. I'm like, I just want to stop. But I have the dream, which is greater than the pain. And I just keep focusing on that.
That's a great quote. I love that. I put something up today, which was all about your inner deepest self-beliefs will reflect on your outer reality and life experience that you are experiencing. And that
Yeah.
is so true, because everything that you're experiencing comes from within. Everything that we see around us is literally just come from a thought, come from a seed. Everything we see has come from a thought. It's amazing to think that every single thing. I always, when I'm directing in my courses and my clients and people like that, when I'm helping them to find their purposes, I get them to ask themselves such basic questions. What energizes you?
Yeah.
You know, what do you spend your money on? Where is the most order in your life? What do you value? Because actually you'll find there is chaos in the areas that you don't care as much about or value as high.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
a lot of pain and suffering young. All in 1 year, I got divorced, had an illness, gave birth, and that's pretty traumatic.
Wow.
And overcame all of this in 1 year. And it was really hard for me to come out of it. But that's how I've ended up here, because I decided 4 years ago that I was not just going to get better and be normal and go back to being my normal bubbly self. I was going to make a difference in the world and contribute. And that's
Wow.
another thing, you know, when you're teaching them about greatness, what tips do you give? Like,
I think, I used to think I wanted to be successful, and I realized that success is all about what I can gain, and the greatness is all about what I can give. And
mm,
the greatest people in the world are givers. They serve, whether it be through their music or their sports craft or art or business. They find a way to serve their audience, to inspire, to give hope, to give tools, entertain, and educate in a certain service mentality. And so for me, I've learned that the hard way, because in my 20s, I was achieving for myself, to feel better, to feel wanted, desired, all these different things, for people to like me, to look good. And I remember after every accomplishment, after these big dreams and these big accomplishments, I was miserable. I was like, why don't I feel different? I just put decades into this dream and it came true. And I'm actually more angry than before. And so I started to really shift that way of thinking, whereas like, okay, I can go after my dreams, but I need to do it in service of other people, so that it's fulfilling every day. Every day I'm giving and contributing in a certain way to help others. And I can pursue my, stuff. I can have a top show. I can have a New York Times bestseller. I can launch a movie or whatever that I want to do, and every day have fun by building the right team and serving them, by building my, the audience and serving them, and being a helpful guide in the best way that I can. And the best way for me to be a helpful guide is to curate other inspiring people and let them actually share wisdom. So I try to take the pressure off myself by knowing that I don't have all the answers, and I go try to find the people that do.
you could leave behind.
My
So,
mission is to serve 100 million people a week, to help them live a better life. And that's what I've been focused on for years. And so I'm led by the vision of serving 100 million people a week. What do I need to do that? What type of content will I serve them with? Experiences will I support them with? And different areas of their life to help them improve. I feel like we can always be improving something.
yes.
And there's always something that's holding us back. So if we can identify that thing that holds us back from deeper fulfillment, deeper connection, love, and we can improve it consistently, then that's going to give us more purpose, more intention to live a better life, as opposed to just going through the motions. I think a lot of people get stuck and they don't do anything about it. And that's when we start to slowly die, as opposed to constantly thrive.
Another really good tip for anyone that's watching, just to like boom off what Lewis is saying there. Uh, One, write this down, get clarity of your vision, your goal, your dream. Get clarity of your vision, your goal, your dream. Love that. 2, get clarity of how it will contribute to the world. What contribution is your business, your purpose, your feeling going to put out there into the world? What contribution is that going to leave? And 3, take inspired action towards that objective. Watch the magic unfold. Brilliant. 3 little
That's
things.
great.
Simple.
That's great.
So simple. But if you stick to it, and you just get clarity of vision and you stick to those goals, because most people, like I was saying, back to the value thing again, they will be focusing every single day on things which don't actually add value to their life.
Right.
It's their burn rates. They're probably focusing on the things that maybe, you know, they have to do it because it earns them the money, but that's their burn stuff. They want to be focusing on the bigger stuff that's going to go towards their objective.
Yes.
What is going towards your objective? That's what we want to see more of. That's what gets you excited. Like you just said, right? You feel amazing every day. You have fun every day. And you want to continue to do that. And then, like, clearly.
Yeah, every morning I have like a little scooter, like a little, I don't know if it's like a Razor or something, but a push scooter. It's not motorized, and I literally
you go on.
Yeah, a little scooter that you ride on, and you push your feet and you like scoot yourself. I scoot to my studio and back to my place every morning and every night because I want to remind myself to have fun, to be playful, to be like a child. And so I'm trying to find things every day, even though I'm very focused on my mission, and which, you know, it's in a studio and there's a team and I have overhead and all these things. I'm trying to incorporate play and fun every day because we can easily get caught up in the busyness of the mission as opposed to like living life also. And so how can you incorporate play, fun into the mission every day so you always feel like a kid?
That is so important. Playtime. Actually, playtime is when we're really inspired. So on the inside, that light, that beam, that beacon, you could call it the God life force, you can call it anything you want, the soul, the part of us inside that is constantly inspired, right? That part, the excitement, through things like that, through play, through all that stuff, you just attract more of that amazing good stuff into your life because the universe is just all giving. And so when you get into that playful like place, you just want to do more of it.
Yes.
You just want to start, and then you attract more good things.
It's true.
It can literally distract you in a good way. It takes your mind away. It's like I put up this Instagram post today all about 4 little tips again on changing your life. Little things that do such monumental output. You know, usually you want big input to get a big output, but this is tiny input for a monumental output. And like, you know, it's all about that playtime. But the first thing I say in it, the reason I mention it is because the first thing on the list of what I believe you should do, what I've always done, it's always worked for my clients, for everybody, is take time away from life, from your devices, from this, all these things. Take time away and just be alone in your thoughts and be silent. You don't necessarily need to meditate. You can. That's a whole other topic, which I love. But be in your own thoughts where you can download and just listen to the sound, you know, the sound of your own natural feeling and voice and what's your soul saying.
Absolutely.
And then breathe.
That's it. That's it. Do you have a practice yourself where you meditate or you do breathing exercises daily?
I do. I have a really fine-tuned daily ritual. I actually have an evening ritual and morning ritual. And I saw you posted about evening. I was like, we're on a podcast. I was like, your evening ritual sounds good. Mine's a kind of different vibe. My rituals in the day that I would do religiously, and I don't have them at set times necessarily. I'll work out like 30 minutes at some point on cardio. So it'll be like an anaerobic exercise, and also I do aerobic. I think I've got that the wrong way around, but I know exactly what I mean because it's so good for your fitness. And it really helps towards success, in fact.
Absolutely.
Speaking last night to Jen Cohen about this exact topic. It's so funny. So 30 minutes a day. And then I also do a particular regime around breathing. Okay, so I do like a lot of Wim Hof. In my book, I talk about Wim Hof and his amazing breathing techniques. I'll have an ice cold shower, and I'll do that's after the workout, and then I'll do a breathing exercise into something which is a very unique practice. And I reference Jose Silva, the Silva Ultra Mind technique. Silver Ultramind has changed my life. I've been doing it for years, 10 years. And I will do this in such a way, because what I will do is I will do one of the techniques, and they're called the 3 scenes techniques. And I will go through things I've already done in my day, had a meeting, had this, had whatever it is I've done, whether it went well or good. I will go back in, take myself back into that place, and then relive it, and then redo it how I wanted to do it, how I did it.
Yeah.
And it sets in your mind like a memory, and then the next time you will never go near that thing, the way it didn't go the right way before, because you've nailed it. You've already got it right. And so I'll do the Silver Ultramind techniques going into the alpha state effectively for everything. Anyone's like, what is she on about? Basically, I'll go into the alpha state. A lot of people live in the beta. I'll go from I'll go into alpha to theta, if you can, like go down. It's a beautiful thing to do. And
That's
then I
great.
meditate as well. So I love to meditate. I will do a meditation for maybe 10 to 20 minutes only a day, sometimes twice a day if they're short. But actually, one of my favorite things to do every single day, I put headphones on, and I have an album on my phone called Inspiration. And I have some of my own songs in there. But actually, the majority is people that I've admired their music of over the years, that are written in a certain hertz. So these I listen to are like the 432 hertz, which is the healing frequency, or a 528 hertz, which is the happy love frequency. So I'll go into one of these and I'll listen to them, and they just make me feel alive. And I'll dance like a
That's great.
around my house, and then like do a booty workout. Like I just honestly go wild with it. I listen to it, I feel alive, and then I start writing, and then I start affirmations, and then I just go into a whole zone of visualization, but feeling it, living it, like athletes. You're gonna know about that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Did you do all that stuff where you
I've been doing visualizations for, I don't know, 25 years, where as an athlete, I would just see myself performing the way I want to perform. I would watch highlight films of like the greatest football players, or I was a pole vaulter in the decathlon as well. So I would watch the world champion pole vaults, and I would mentally watch it over and over after I physically watch it on the screen, and then act as if I was creating that and I was doing that. And then I would go out and do it the next day over and over. So for me, visualization has been key in creating the life that I want.
did you ever do mental rehearsal where you would literally like live it out? You'd be like, okay, you'd visualize it, you'd act it out before you went on is it the pitch? You call it the pitch?
Yeah, the field. Yeah. I mean, I would do that all the time. Yeah. And for me, I was doing guided meditations back when I was 20 years ago. I was doing guided meditations before meditation was even a thing, and kind of like USA. I would create my own mixtape with my voice and music, with a mental visualization of how I was going to create that thing that I was doing. I would create it, and I would listen to my own voice like a workout song, and prepare my mind for the battle at hand, which was usually a sport. But that was stuff that would really help me build intention, build confidence, build awareness on the focus that I wanted to create in that game, that match, whatever.
Wow, I think that is really
But you could do that as a singer, as an artist. You should create that for yourself, your own like mental rehearsal song that is your words, with music playing over top, with your affirmations, with everything else of what you want to create in your life.
I love that. I think I'm definitely going to have to try that, because I think it really gets you into that place of focus.
Yes.
Every genius mind in the world, every artist has always had a place where it's secluded, it's safe, where they would practice their artistry. And that is actually a really good thing, because you could just play it out on your speakers or your headphones, get into that zone, and start your day in whatever way you want, doing that
A
method.
few books. I wrote a New York Times bestseller called The School of Greatness, and then I wrote The
I know
Mask of Masculinity.
I know this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I wrote The Mask of Masculinity, which is about how men can be more vulnerable and loving in their lives and tear down the walls that hold them back from deeper intimacy and connection.
I've read
And
that one. That's quite a cool book. Wow. Is it more for men?
I wrote it for men, though a lot of women actually read it more because and they give it to their man because it teaches women how to understand the men in their lives better too.
Uh, okay.
So, and then I'm working on another book about eliminating self-doubt because I think self-doubt is the killer of all dreams, and it's near impossible to accomplish what you want if you don't believe in yourself. And it doesn't matter if the world thinks you're talented and thinks you can accomplish it. If you don't believe, you aren't going to make it happen. And reversely, the cool thing is it doesn't matter if the world hates you and is against you and doubts you. It just takes one person to believe, and that's yourself. And so creating a book with the tools and the science behind how to eliminate self-doubt from your life.
No one ever wants to be victim to somebody else's plan, to somebody else's
Right.
way. You want to create your own legacy.
Absolutely.
You want to create your own legacy in 100, 200 years. And you know, people talking
Absolutely.
about you. What are they saying? And if it's something that you created, then you know that that's probably what you want them to say. But if
Absolutely.
it's like if people were to come into the School of Greatness and they were to like take one of your courses, um, like how would they feel at the end of it? How do they get there?
Well, like you said, you've got to evaluate where you've been in your life and what you want in your life and why you want it and how it connects to your values. Um, the key is to figure out what you want. Have you ever seen the movie The Notebook?
Obsessed.
You know that scene where he's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" And she's like, "I don't know." When we don't know what we don't want, that's the greatest struggle. That's when we feel really stuck because we're like, "Well, maybe I want this, and maybe I want that, and I like 10 things. I want to do it all, or I have no clue what my skills or my passion are, or I'm not sure. I don't believe in myself." When we don't know what we want, that is where we're going to be stuck and feeling trapped. And so it's really important to evaluate everything that we've done in our past, the things that have held us back, the things that we've succeeded in, our failures, our successes, things like that, and take inventory on our life and see, okay, what are the patterns that we're seeing that work for us and aren't working? How can I double down on the things that support me and eliminate the things that don't support me? And then what is this season of my life? What do I want? Because sometimes people are like, well, I want this for the rest of my life. But no, we live in seasons. When I was younger, I wanted to be a great athlete.
Yeah.
Then that season ended.
Yeah.
And then I move into a new season where I have to reflect on my past and discover what I want again, which might take some time, some messiness, some trying a bunch of things that don't work until I figure out what does work. You had a season where you wanted to be a mom one day. Well, hopefully you wanted to be a mom and it wasn't an accident, but you were like, yeah, one day I want to be a mom. And then you're like, okay, now that season, I'm in that season, but I also want to be a business leader, a female entrepreneur, a singer, and you're in a new season. And it's okay to have different dreams, different passions, different purposes throughout your life. You're not supposed to probably have one your entire life if you're going to live a long time. And I think that can get kind of boring after a while. So for me, it's evaluating the season of your life and then really getting clear on what you want. Because the greatest people in the world that I've interviewed, they have a number of things in common. And one is they have a very clear vision. The Olympic gold medalists of any sport doesn't just wake up one day and say, I think I want to be an Olympian and maybe win a gold medal. They knew for certain what they wanted, and their actions and their thoughts dictated their life in order to accomplish that. Same for any business leader, actor, athlete. They're very clear on what they want. So you've got to have a clear vision, number one. The second thing is you've got to be willing to overcome every adversity that comes your way. I know, Natasha, you've had a lot of adversities. You talked about it 4 years ago, going through, it's horrible challenges that came your way. The greatest individuals in the world lean into the adversities and they're able to get through them on the other side with much more understanding, compassion, love, and power. And so turning every adversity into your advantage, using it as fuel in a positive way for your purpose is something you've got to have. And then I'll just share one other thing that every great person has is they all live a life of service. Some people might have incredible success and accomplishment, but still feel empty inside until they live a life of service. You aren't truly great until you do it to serve and support other people, with your passion and your dream. So you've got to have those three key things: a clear vision. And sometimes it's not going to be clear because you're going to be in a messy part of your life, and that's okay. You've got to be willing to turn every adversity into something that you embrace and are excited about. This sucks. Yes, let me go through more pain. Awesome. Okay, he broke up with me. Yes, what can I learn and gain from this? And how can I use this to my advantage? Someone close to me died. This sucks. And after I grieve, how can I use this in a powerful way? My boss fired me. Yes, that means I wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. So let me go discover what I want to do. I lost all my money. Yes, I had to learn this lesson. Now I'm going to be stronger. In 10 years, it's going to look back and I'm going to see why this needed to happen. When we start to change our perspective around our adversities, and instead of being a victim, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, but saying, how am I going to overcome this to use it as inspiration to the people around me and for myself, we become stronger, we become more confident knowing that we can take on any adversity down the line, because great leaders are going to face great challenges. And if you can't deal with a few challenges early in your life, the universe is not going to give you more things to be responsible for, because it's testing you all the time. And if you can't handle a breakup, you can't handle losing your job when you're 27, then why would the universe give you more great things to be responsible for if you couldn't handle something with this type of adversity? So you want to look at it and say, any adversity comes my way, I'm going to be ready for it. And I'm going to be able to handle it. And I can do this because I know that in order to have greater responsibility, I must face great adversity. And if you can't handle it and you go into a dark depression and you stay stuck, then why would the universe give you more great things to focus on or to be excited about? It's not. It's not. So adversity is the answer. Lean into it. I'm not saying you need to look for adversity all the time, but when it comes, realize this is a season. It's not going to always be this way, but where can you learn and grow from this? And that's greatness.